in the places that we love in and around the Lake Minnetonka area and beyond. And today I have a very special guest. I have Gwen Matthews, who is going to be joining me today. And Gwen Matthews, I'm sure you've heard of her. She may have started her career singing jingles in Minneapolis, but it led to recording with the likes of Stevie Wonder, members of Earth, Wind, and Fire, Kenny Rogers. She's been on Oprah and so much more. She is going to be my guest today, and I'm very excited. If you have questions, post them in the comments, and we'll see if we can get to those. But welcome, Gwen Matthews. Thank
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
Now, we're going to talk about you have an upcoming show at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, which is on April 3rd. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to ask you first about you were named as one of the top 30 Black music makers from Minnesota recently.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about that. And I know it's something you're excited about too. Can you tell me about that and what that was like for you?
Oh my gosh. It was like one of the highest love letter honors that I've ever received because I felt like it was a love letter to the 30 musicians that were honored. And there's so many more, of course, but it just made my not only my week, my day, my night, it gives you a source, it gives you a sense of being appreciated in a great
Sure.
way. I was excited and I'm still excited.
That is exciting. You've
I've done
done
a lot
so
of,
much.
yeah. I've done a lot of work in the Twin Cities and I've done a lot of corporate work, a lot of jingles things, traveled all over the world, worked with various people, traveled all. I was really happy to go to Paris and I worked with Denny Collin and his trio, and I've done a lot with Synergy, Rupert's Orchestra, Traveling Orchestra. We did a lot for insurance companies and tire companies and anybody that was spending millions of dollars. Really happened a lot before the towers were were where the airplanes came and did that sad thing on 7/11. So we did a lot, and I still do a lot, and I have a great time working with great musicians and people in town.
That's fantastic. I'm curious. What was it like to work with Stevie Wonder?
Well, here's the deal with Stevie. I went out to Los Angeles because of that, because I was supposed to get a gig with him and be one of his singers. And what he did, I didn't get that gig, but he allowed me in the studio to hang, sing, do all kinds of various things, and had promised me that I'd be on a record. But I was always with Wonder Love, and he heard I wanted to take lessons from Seth Riggs. Paid for the lessons. I would always call him up and see how he was doing. So we had more of a friendship kind of thing. It was just an honor to be in his company because I he was one of my idols. So yeah, I sang with him, but I didn't get on a record. You know what I
Sure, but at
mean?
least you got to sing with him.
Yeah, the audition I had will be something in my. It was like started with him and ended up with his band, and we just had a really really great time singing for over an hour. And so I had a carte blanche to hang out at Crystal Studios back in the day, as much as I
Ah,
wanted. Yeah. And I would sit and be really quiet and wouldn't say anything. And I wouldn't think he would know I was there. And he'd come by me and he'd go, "Why didn't you say something?" And I go, well, I don't know. It's like, how did you know I was here? But he has that extra sense about his space. He knows who's in it. And he liked me and I liked him. And we've kind of lost contact through the years, but he would always get tickets for me when he would come to town and various things like that. So
that's fun.
it's a cool
Now,
story.
yeah, it really is. I bet you just have so many of those stories. I thought it
Oh,
was really interesting too to hear about how, back in the day, many years ago, you used to perform at what was the Bean and Wine Cafe in Excelsior
yeah.
and with other artists. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, Boyd Lee and myself, we had a duel. He played guitar, I sang, and we did places like the Bean and Wine Cafe because he knew the owners, got us in there, and that was we recorded a live record there, did Christmas shows there, did it was just the fun. I love guitars and vocals. I'm that girl. Big band's true, but put me into a very quiet, uh, one time guitar player. I'm happy, and I just loved working with Boyd, and then our lives kind of grew apart with me traveling all over Europe and different things like that with other bands. But still, my favorite thing to do is to be close and personal with people.
That's fantastic. So now coming up, so on April 3rd, you have a show coming up and it's the night before Easter and it's with Robert Robinson
It
and it's at the
is.
Chanhassen Dinner Theater. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I wanted to do a show. We've done an Easter show, Robert and I. We've been a duo for about 3.5 years. We'll go and maybe a couple of times a year do something together.
Hmm.
Uh, and so I wanted when we went to when I bleh, can I get my tongue to act right? When I proposed the idea to the Chanhassen, my thought behind it was like Christmas. Twas the night before Christmas. And all through then I go, oh, no, 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 no. We're talking about the night before Easter, getting ready. As a little girl, it was a big deal because we got the dresses, we got the patent leather shoes and the socks with the ruffles, and my mother bought me gloves and she bought me a little hat and a purse. So I was trying to go back to that and then think a little bit about my grandfather's church when all there was a piano or a guitar and 4 or 5 singers. So we're not that low. I didn't scale it down quite like that. But we'll have some songs that are scaled down where we just may use piano. We may use the three-piece band. We may add just percussion and this and that, so that you really get a chance to get inside what we're doing, and you won't get lost in all the music, all the players, and you'll get lost in the voices. So well, everybody works together. Not trying to ignore anyone. We've surrounded ourselves with some fabulous musicians, and we've got Tony Axel on bass. I've got Ryan Binding on piano, on one piano. Then I have another piano, and that is I'm going to mess it up. Darnell. I have trouble with Darnell Davis, and then the last person would be there's 4 people. All right, I said 3. I don't know who the fourth one is. I got to remember.
When it pops in, just shout it out. That's
I'll
what I
shout it out.
do.
Oh, Patrick Nelson on drums and percussion.
There
Yeah,
you
I don't
go.
want to forget one. So he's like, sometimes he's going to play only percussion and sometimes he's going to play drums on certain things. But sometimes that quiet conversational thing is what I'm looking for, sitting around the table telling some Easter stories and singing some fun songs. I'm
Yeah.
blending. We're blending, gospel inspirational with, even songs like "Giving You the Best That I Got" and "Get Ready" from the Temptations, but we might throw in "Lord You're Holy," or we might throw in "Giving Up," which is a really powerful song that Jennifer Hudson and Holiday sang, written by Donny Hathaway. So we've got a Carrie Underwood song that we're doing, "Something in the Water." So we've got a whole bunch of music that genre wise should entice everybody, and we like that audience participation. It's been a long time to not be on a stage, so we're looking forward to it.
That's fantastic. And that's April 3rd. So people can go to the Chanhassen Dinner Theaters website, which is scrolling right on the bottom here. And
So
that's what
good.
they'll be able to get tickets for that. And speaking of your time in the last year in the pandemic and not being able to go out and perform, as an artist and as somebody who is so, you've done so much and it sounds like you've always had something, going. What
Yeah.
has this last year been like for you? What have you been up to?
Oh my goodness. It has been baking, it's been cooking, it's been delivering slices of cakes, of my cakes. It's been trying to figure out, am I still a singer? What the heck's happening? Because I haven't really performed. My students and I'm such a touchy feely person. So it wasn't a thing I could do the online thing as well as some people. So it's been kind of strange, and it's been a heavy year because I've lost my good friend Debbie Duncan. Then I lost
Mm.
my other good friend um, um, Yolanda Bruce, just a month ago. So it's been a hard, interesting time. But I've been writing poetry, so I used to write a lot of poetry, so I'm back to doing that. and I'm excited about that.
That's fantastic. What do you think the next year is going to hold? What are you most looking forward to?
Recording. I've got some songs I want to do. I've got a song that we did. Oh my gosh, it's called "For You." We did that song 17 years ago, and it was a song that was designed to aid children in Africa. Well, we're bringing that back, and I had 40 musicians, Minnesota musicians, performing, singing, and playing music on that. So that's the one thing I want to do is to bring that big kind of "We Are the World" song back that we did with musicians here in town. So, and I also have another song I'm working on called "Rise." So that's going to be in my future.
That's fantastic. Get my camera back in focus here.
Yeah.
Um, so
Did you?
now you mentioned too, did you say that you're teaching, that you mentioned your students? Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
Well, I'm a vocal coach. I coach you. I get behind you and bring out the best in you. I take really good care of my students, and I'm kind of choosy, so I'm starting again in the middle of April and taking students, and I sort of give them a little bit of what I learned, and then of course all the years that I've worked, and I can
Hmm.
hear how to bring something out of someone, and you're gonna notice something within the first day. So I get behind them. I fall in love with my babies, and I want them to do well. And I've got a family of musicians now. I started it off. I got nieces and nephews and all kinds of people performing and writing from reggae, from rap to popular music and the rhythm and blues and what have you. So
Hmm.
so I got Gwinchy. I'm a coach.
That's
So
fantastic. How
I'm a
how would someone get a hold of you if they wanted to, work with you as a coach, if they wanted to be a student of yours?
They could call my number, or I could give them my what do you call it? Email address.
Oh, okay. Do you know your email address off the top of your head? We can just share it with anyone listening. I can also post
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, it's my name, Gwen,
Okay.
Gwen. Then C for Charlie, H for Henry, E for Edward. The number's 4971 at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. All right. I'm writing it down too so that I can share it in the comments or on the post when we post this after we're live.
Sure. Is it
Now,
wise to give your phone number out? Or is that not wise?
well, we won't do that. Yeah, we won't give your phone number out right now. You might get all kind of calls.
I, at least I can control the emails.
Yes, yes. Now we have a question from someone from Mali, and she's asking, is the process of songwriting and poetry writing quite similar? Oop, I think Gwen, I think you got muted. Oh, somebody's calling you? Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's did the call go away? Is it still ringing? No. Okay. So it's on your end it's muted, but maybe I'll click you off and you want to just come right back in. Okay, let's do that. So everybody bear with me. We're going to have Gwen right back in a second. We were having some technical difficulties earlier. We tried her computer and then iPad, and then we finally got her up and running on her phone. And there she is back with us. See, easy peasy.
I don't know what happened.
I know you put your phone on do not disturb, but it must cut the broadcast when it comes through. We've not done too many of these where a person's on the phone, but we're making it work. So
We
you were
are.
saying
Um,
you were about to answer the question from Molly, which is about, is this process of songwriting and poetry, are those two processes similar?
I think they can be for certain people because maybe people start by writing a story via poetry and rhyming and all that kind of thing. But for me, I write really long kind of. I write poetry, though it would be too long to turn into a song. But I think it's similar,
Yeah.
you know.
When you, what would, if you were speaking to someone, and I'm sure there's people who are going to be watching or listening who are interested in writing music and performing, what advice would you give them, especially here in the Twin Cities? We have so much, and now more and more it's opening, like the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. What words of wisdom or advice would you give them to get going on, either becoming a songwriter or performer?
Well, I would pay attention to the songs that I like, the hits that I like by different people, and I would find how I would figure out what that song does for me. And I would look at it in that way first and to see if they can then write a song that they would like. But really, there are songwriting classes. There are people who teach that. I would never be a good source for that one because I'm really more of a poet than I am a songwriter. But I do write songs, if that makes any sense. So I
Hmm.
say follow your dream. Don't let anybody stop you or tell you that what you're writing doesn't make any sense. If it makes sense to you and you can find a rhythm for it, well, go for it. And then record it somewhere. You can record so many things on your phone these days. So get on your phone and keep your stuff handy so that you know what you're doing, but don't stop because you get better the more you do it. I didn't start off as a songwriter. I have more stories now because I've been doing it forever. So there are some things that I can literally write about and share, you know.
Sure. Another question: what do you have a favorite songbook?
I don't have a favorite song book. I have a lot of favorite songs
Mhm. What are
because
what
I
are
can.
some of your favorite songs?
Well, believe it or not, I started off singing very, very like the songs like "The Sound of Music."
Hmm.
That was one of my favorite ones. Or Oliver. I did a whole lot of show tunes because I thought I was going to be a musical theater person. And so then as that goes, and I learned how to become a rhythm person because I wasn't rhythmic. However, I listened to people like Stevie, and I listened to people like Dionne Warwick was probably one of my favorite people, and Johnny, whatever his name is. I can't think of people's names these days, but he was
Me
one.
neither.
Johnny Mathis. But I like smooth singers, beautiful voices, and then I learned, like, when Aretha came out, it was like, who the heck? What the heck? Who is she? And so then I learned and took up R&B. I've done some rock too in my days, but I wanted to know how she did what she did, and I wanted to know how Stevie did the runs that he did. So I laid on the floor and studied runs and studied patterns and studied, all that kind of thing, and fell in love with all kinds of music. It's a long list, but when you ask me, it's hard to say because in modern day I like songs like "Giving You the Best That I Got,"
Yeah.
but I'll turn around and sing. um I'll turn right around and sing a show tune of some sort, you know
Do you
like
have?
"Where." That's a beautiful song.
Oh, that is. Have
Yeah.
you, when you were growing up, at what point did you know that this is what you wanted to do? That you wanted to be a singer, songwriter, that you wanted to perform. Is it something you always did? When did it come to you?
I was about 2 or 3.
Wow.
My mother said, and I've witnessed this in my family. My mother said I sang in the cradle. And so I said, I did what? And her friend told her, that baby is singing. My mother said, she never shuts up. That baby is singing. So when I was in my grandparents in Oklahoma, um, I would be in the kids' choir, and I couldn't have been more than 2. And my mouth was always open, always singing, always having the most fun. So I knew at an early age. And as far as career wise, I probably thought about it at 6 or 7. I just knew I was going to always sing. That was my calling. It was there. It was given to me. So I didn't have to search about what I wanted to do, just how I was going to do it, you
Yeah, and
know.
as you said, that kind of evolved too, that you worked with different genres and kind of just went with what you found interesting, what moved you, the kind of music that you wanted to listen to in that moment. You even mentioned that you did a little bit of rock, so I'm curious about that. What did that look like?
Well, I sang background with the band called Crow, and
Hmm.
that was really early in my career. And their hit was "Evil Woman." Dun, evil woman, don't play no dun dun dun, ba, 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 you
Hmm.
know, and you can get all that kind of stuff. And I've sung some rock and roll in my days, and I like rock and roll. I like that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of an all over the place kind of genre singer. There's so many things that I like to do, like um, living on a let's see. Oh, what is that
Oh
song?
yeah, living on a
You know,
prayer.
living on a
Oh,
prayer.
we're
Living
halfway
on a prayer.
there.
Yeah, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Dun 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 dun. Can
Yeah, I
I
love
remember?
that.
No, not right now, but just all kinds of songs. I feel like it. I feel like I didn't write that down, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, but
you know,
that's great. I love that. And that seems to be the way it is for a lot of things and even with different kind of artists. When anyone has a passion for something, if you just pursue it and you find what excites you and what lights you on fire and you just go at it. And like you said, just, sing. And if you want to write, write.
thing if you right, right. It's like songs like everything must change. You know that one. That's a beautiful song. And He Lives in Me from The Lion King. That is such a great tune. There's just so lovely day.
Oh, yeah.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sun lights up my eyes, da 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 da, warning, love. And then it goes, when I look at you, everything's all right with me. Just to look at you. We're gonna do that actually. Lovely day, lovely day. My good friends wrote that. One of my best friends in the world wrote that song with Bill Withers.
Bill Withers.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Skip Scarborough. He
So
wrote
you're
that.
going to do that as part of the April 3rd show at the Chanhassen
Yeah,
Dinner Theater?
gonna do that. Yes, we are gonna do giving you the best. Jesus loves me.
Mm.
When you were a little girl, Jesus loves me. This I know, but I got a different version. For the Bible tells me so. Little one to Him belong. They are weak, but He is strong. Something like that.
Oh, I love it. My daughter used to love to sing that song when she was, oh my gosh, she was, I think, 4 or 5 years old. And we used to go, you remember the Old Country Buffet? Were you ever around when
Of
they had that?
course, of
So we go to
course.
Old Country Buffet, and then she would just stand there and sing that song. It was so
Oh,
cute.
so cute. I mean, and then Robert, who is the institution of gospel music
Mm.
around here. He's got tons of great songs that we're going to do that he will bellow. And I told him years ago, you're the only person that ever made me like jump out, have an out of body experience. And I
Wow.
could fly out of my body, kind of tilt a little bit, and things would turn blue, because he was so powerful, and is. So we have some fun things that we're going to do together, and because we're a duet, you know. So my thing
That's
is, want
amazing.
to hear more? Come on out to the Chanhassen on April 3rd, the night before Easter, and come and hang out with us. And they practice all the safe CDC, guidelines and everything. I went there to see the Whitney show, which was awesome, and everything was so safe, and I felt very protected. So I say, get you a ticket, bring your family. We start at 8. We'll be done by 10. You'll get home in time and get some sleep for Easter Sunday.
Yep. And people can still, I think they can do dinner as well, right?
Yeah.
Prior. I think dinner's at 6. So just, go over to the Chanhassen Dinner Theaters website, which is chanhassendt.com. We have it scrolling on the bottom here.
Yes.
And get a ticket. April 3rd, you can find Gwen Matthews and Robert Robinson, who's going to be performing with you.
Yes, I'm so excited to bring him there and to do this duet with him. I love singing with him. So he's just amazing. He's got, he did the whole Lori Line thing for so long, and he does his own thing all over the planet. So he's just an amazing gifted artist. I'm happy to share the stage with, and share air with. So we're
Mm-hmm.
going to have ourselves a really good time.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, there, Stevie Ray, the improv shows are going on. You can attend
Mhm.
those. You can get tickets on the weekend. They're going to be
Yeah.
opening more and more shows. I would encourage people to check out their Facebook page, go to their website, and see what's coming. It is
Yeah.
such a wonderful local resource for us here to have local live theater and shows available so close to the Lake Minnetonka area, right? The Chanhassen Dinner Theaters right there.
Right there.
Make it, yep, make a night of it. I really appreciate you joining me, Gwen, and sharing everything and working through the technical difficulties to be on. I'm super
Well,
excited about your show and
thank you.
really thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. What a pleasure to meet you. And I hope we did our job well today advertising this show. So thank you.
Absolutely. Now, you hold on for just a second. I'm going to take us off live and chat with you in just a minute, Gwen. Everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure if you know of somebody or a local business, somebody who's creating community in the places we love around Lake Minnetonka and beyond, connect with me. You can find me at nataliewebsterrealtor.com, or you can find me through my Facebook page, Natalie Webster Realtor, and we can have them on and share more about the great things happening in and around our community. So everybody else, I will chat at you later.